Okay, so consider the following code, which is intended to return the smallest of three integers. It doesn't always work as intended. Okay, which of the following identifies the conditions in which this algorithm may not work as intended? Okay, notice that both the first condition and the second condition are using an and. So in order for the first condition to be true, or the second condition to be true, we must have both of the left side and the right side of the and be true. So notice that the first one is checking that x is strictly less than y and also that x is strictly less than z. Now, of course, if I can confirm that x is both smaller than y and also smaller than z, then that x is the smallest. So logically speaking, we return x, which returns the smallest. So that would work in that sense if x was actually smaller than both. But the problem is that if x is equal to one of the values, then it will not be exactly smaller, right? So when we check here, for example, let's say that x and y were both the same number. They were both 1. And that z had the value of 3. Well, the smallest there, it should say it's 1. But the problem is that when I check is 1 less than 1, this will be false. And so we short circuit and we go to the else if, and we check now is y 1 less than x 1. Of course, that'll be false again. And it's an and, in an and both have to be true, so we short circuit and that's also false. And so then this causes the final else to automatically run, because remember the final else is a catch-all. If all of the previous if is false, then we automatically run the final else. And so this will tell me and return that z is the smallest. But z is 3. 3 is not the smallest. So notice that it did not work. It did not actually return the smallest of the 3 in that scenario. So the problem here is that when x and y have the same value, then it will not give me the correct smallest. Because unless x is strictly less than y or y is strictly less than x, then automatically it returns the smallest being z. So if z has the same value as y, that's not a problem, because then z is the smallest and it will automatically return z and it'll return 1. So the problem is really with x and y have the same value and they're the smallest, because then it'll automatically go to the else and return z, which is the incorrect smallest value.